New iPad. Woo! That was a little dramatic and weird, but still, it's exciting getting new stuff. Very exciting. So also this time I'm filming on my A7R5, so that's kind of why I'm looking over this way a little bit, because I can see my face on the screen with the flippy out screen. Anyway, so I recently got the new iPad Pro with M4. Here it is, right here. It was kind of almost an impulsive purchase a little bit, but what I wanted to do is kind of talk to why I chose this and why I think it's a good photographer's tool. So I'm gonna go over, just like my history with an iPad, why I chose to get it, and my initial thoughts is for using it as a photography tool and just an all-around device, even though I've only had it since Friday. Oh my gosh, really? There we go. Had to turn the fan on. And zoom in a little bit. Why this? How did I end up with an iPad? Well, back in 2020, I splurge bought an iPad Pro. I think at the time it was the 4th gen with the A12Z chip, and it was just an experiment. Let me buy it, see how I like it. Maybe I'll keep it, because I've been watching videos at the time, about using an iPad for editing, photos, and it was a bit of a game changer for me. It's really good. And the last time I had an iPad before that was in 2013 when I got a free iPad from college. It was just I think it was a basic bottom line iPad that they give out to students. I didn't really use that, but then when I got this new iPad Pro, I thought this was the most amazing thing, to be able to use an Apple Pencil to edit pictures. I thought that was just very, very cool, and I was very surprised by using it. The way I ended up using it was with Adobe Lightroom. Can I help you? Please? Thank you. So yeah, I started editing pictures with Adobe Lightroom, and it was nice because it could sync between the iPad and a Mac, and whatever I was editing on the iPad, I could then pick up on the Mac, and I could download the full files straight from the Mac and even open them up in Photoshop on the Mac, because I prefer to use Photoshop on the Mac. Why did I choose this new iPad? Well, I originally was going to upgrade my Mac from my M1 Pro with 16 gigs of RAM and a terabyte SSD to a new M3 Max with 48 gigs of RAM and the same 1 terabyte SSD. Very close to doing it. However, what happened is that the week after the announcement of these new M4 iPads, there was Geekbench scores that's already being leaked, and it's if this is M1, this is M2, this is M3, M4, how do I say this? M4 specs and performance was up here. It was a much bigger leap from chip to chip, and am I gonna notice that with an iPad? Maybe, who knows? Because I've only had it for a couple days, but I want to give some initial impressions of using this thing, because it's quick. So, and then comparing that with my M1 Pro iPad, the M4 with my A7R5 files, it's a lot snappier, and I can import a lot quicker with the M4 iPad Pro compared to my M1 iPad Pro. I didn't do any side-by-side comparison, because I'm about to wipe that thing and then send it in for trade-in. So some new facts about the new M4 iPad Pro. Well, it's got a new OLED screen as opposed to the mini LED screen, 2,000,000:1 contrast ratio, over 1,000 nits of brightness, and then using it, it is very, very thin. I don't think the camera's focusing on it, but you know, compared with the M1 iPad Pro, like you can tell, and picking it up, it's just a lot lighter to use. And the screen, like compared to the last one, the one big thing you notice is that there's no blooming. The mini LED panel on the M1 iPad Pro and the M2 as well, an effect called blooming. The way mini LED works is it's clusters of lighting up multiple pixels, and that would cause it to leak into other areas. So, but the good thing about mini or OLED is each individual pixel is lit. You notice it when you're using it on the few photos I've edited, because I've edited some of my Norway photos, and then I went out this morning and I took some of the cactus that are in bloom. So blacks are true black, and like the bright parts of an image are truly bright. And the other thing too about it is that the color, it's a lot darker compared to the old one right here, compared to, you know, this one right here, which is the M1. This is the M4. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it's, you know, in person it looks definitely darker than the new iPad. So what's it like to use? Well, so I use this mainly for all my photo editing, which people are surprised when I tell them I use an iPad, because you wouldn't think you would use an iPad for editing photos. But every time I've, you know, gone on a trip, I've always grabbed it, and then I'll bring a USB-C cable and I'll plug in my camera and then just import directly from the camera. But what I think I'm gonna do now is I went out and I got a nice SD card reader. I'm gonna start using that instead. It's also a very beautiful screen. It's very, very pretty. You know, if you were to go from your M1 or M2 iPad Pro to this, you'll think it's very, very pretty. If you're in this realm. For normal users, I don't think you're gonna notice whatsoever. It's like we're splitting hairs. And then, yeah, like I said before, editing photos, and the main thing is importing them into the iPad. That's a lot quicker, it seems like, but that's because I've used the card reader and I didn't plug the camera in directly, so I didn't really do like a comparison test, because I'm about to, like I said, you know, send the old one back for some credit. You know, so far using it, I can tell it's gonna be a lot better to use on travel, and I'm just gonna enjoy the heck out of it. Not only for editing photos, but I use it for travel related things like our itinerary, hotel reservation, downloading directions. Don't want to get lost. And speaking of travel, next video, I'm gonna show what I'm bringing to Europe for about 2.5 weeks. So stay tuned for that. The other thing too is that while it is new, I don't know if Adobe has updated for the new functionality in the new Apple Pencil, because now it's got this squeeze feature, and you can, you know, when you squeeze it, you can feel it in the pencil itself. I can't obviously show it on camera. And then it's got a gyrating, like, gyroscope inside. So when you go to rotate, it shows like the position the pencil is in if you're using like a chisel tip or something like that. So who knows if Adobe will update it, but it's just something to know for now as of May 18th, 2024. Yeah, this thing just came out last week, so I doubt they're gonna have an update. The big thing that I've kind of thought about since I got this is, should you upgrade to the new M4 Pro? Just very initial thoughts from the M1 Pro or M2 Pro iPads to this new M4. If you have an M1 Pro iPad or anything before this, and you're not like trying to split hairs like I am and whatnot, I don't think you need to go upgrade immediately. But this is just based on my 2 days of initial impression. So far, I'm really loving it. So another reason I got it is because I turned 30 last Friday. So Happy birthday to me. But I will say the OLED versus the mini LED is nice. Because if you're working on dark areas of a picture, you can tell what is true black because the screen's just gonna turn off those pixels. At least so far, what I've been dealing with, it's also nice to see that the import speeds and the way it handles larger files, it is faster. Because I've noticed whenever I'm doing, you know, masking with my M1 is slower, and it was starting to slug a little bit, but it caught up. But I haven't noticed that in the several photos I've edited, you know, just playing around with it. As far as, you know, should you upgrade, I would also flip it on its head and say, you know, would you want to get an iPad, or if you're thinking about an iPad for photography and editing pictures, it's worth a try, honestly. So, you know, it transformed the way I do my pictures, and it would, you know, whenever I was editing on my Mac before pictures, there was something about it I just didn't like. And the thing with the iPad is that you can import and then you can use the pencil, and there's something about touching your own photos with like your fingers and like the Apple Pencil to edit it to make you what you want. It's weird to describe. It's actually really cool. I don't think you necessarily need an M1 Pro or the new M4 Pro, I should say, if you want to try it. You could go get the new iPad Air that came out, and that would work just fine, even for larger 61 megapixel files like my A7R5 has. You know, most cameras, full frame, are 24 megapixels. If you got an M2 iPad Air, it's gonna work just fine. And then, so I would say it's really nice to have, you know, an iPad to edit pictures, mainly because it's an experience that the Mac doesn't give you. But if you have a Mac already and you're considering getting an iPad, the combo of those two makes it sweeter. Being able to edit on one device and then open it up on another and pick up right where you left off, or you want to do more intensive work. And then the other thing too, I would say, is that it's really nice for travel, having an iPad for editing pictures. You know, I brought mine with me to Norway and Iceland. All my pictures that I edited on those trips, I edited on my M1 iPad Pro. It's really great to use. I love using it. Those are my thoughts, my initial thoughts on the M4 iPad Pro. So far, I'm loving using it, and it's not been a waste of money for me so far. I don't think it's going to be. I bought it for like a birthday present for myself a little bit, as well as, you know, being able to keep up with my other photography gear, because this is one expensive hobby. Anyway, so like I mentioned, next video I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show, you know, the things I'm packing for my 2.5 week trip, and I'm gonna talk through the different photo locations I'm actually going to, planning some cool stuff. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the next video, and catch you later, audience.